The stage of the Kelly Clarkson show was buzzing with anticipation. Lights sparkled, the audience clapped with excitement. And backstage, Meghan Markle stood poised, her expression calm but focused. This wasn't her first talk show, but it felt different, bigger, riskier. She had something to promote. Evermind, her new wellness brand that emphasized mindfulness, clean living, and inner strength. But she also had something to protect, her reputation. Meghan had been carefully rebuilding her public image after a year of silence. The tabloids had eased their grip, the paparazzi had moved on, mostly, and her new business was gaining momentum. This interview with Kelly Clarkson, known for her warm energy and grounded personality, seemed like the perfect platform for a fresh start. When the music cued and Kelly walked onto the stage in high heels and a wide grin, the audience roared with approval. Meghan followed moments later, dressed in soft neutrals, exuding poise and grace. The two embraced politely before sitting across from one another. Kelly kicked off the conversation lightheartedly. "So Meghan, welcome, we are so excited to have you here." "Thank you, Kelly, it's good to be here," Meghan replied, flashing her practiced smile. The first 10 minutes went smoothly. They joked about California life, motherhood, and the challenges of starting a business. Meghan shared anecdotes about her children, how she finds time for herself, and what Evermind meant to her. But then came the pivot. Kelly leaned in, her smile dimming just slightly. "So, Meghan," she began, her tone still friendly but layered, "you've talked a lot about healing. About finding peace after everything you've gone through. And you've been really open about your experience with the royal family. But, can I ask, do you ever worry that sharing so much may have hurt others who couldn't tell their side of the story?" The question hit like a pin drop silence. Meghan's smile faded ever so slightly. She adjusted her posture. "I think healing involves telling your truth. I've never claimed to speak for anyone else, only from my own experience." Kelly nodded. "Of course, but there are critics who say that your truth has come with a lot of media deals. The Netflix docuseries, the podcast, the interviews. Do you think it's possible to truly move on while still revisiting the past so publicly?" A faint murmur rippled through the audience. Meghan looked surprised, almost like she hadn't expected to go this deep. She hesitated before answering. "Speaking about pain doesn't mean you haven't healed from it," she said slowly. "And sometimes, sharing is part of that process, for others, too. It gives permission to people to talk about what they've buried." Kelly's expression remained neutral, but sharp. But when the story being shared is one-sided, people start wondering if it's about healing, or branding. There it was. Meghan's face froze. Her eyes glistened as she tried to maintain composure. She looked off to the side of the stage, perhaps at her publicist, perhaps just anywhere that wasn't Kelly's unrelenting gaze. "I came here to talk about Evermind," Meghan said softly. "Not to relitigate my life in the press." "I understand that," Kelly said, her voice more direct now. "But when someone positions themselves as a public figure of healing and empowerment, it's fair to ask, is it authentic, or just curated?" The tension in the room was so thick, it was tangible. The audience had gone silent. Producers shifted nervously off camera. Meghan's lips parted, but no words came. Her eyes welled up, not theatrical, but real. A flush crept into her cheeks. She reached for the hem of her dress, fidgeting. Then, without a word, she stood. "Meghan," Kelly called, confused. But Meghan didn't stop. She walked off stage, her back straight, her pace quick, leaving a stunned silence behind. Kelly blinked, glanced at her producers, then turned toward the camera. "Well," she said softly, "we'll be right back after this break." The screen cut to commercial. But the footage, it was already going viral. The moment Meghan Markle stepped off the Kelly Clarkson show set in tears, the world was watching, and judging. Within minutes, clips from the broadcast hit the internet. The raw footage of Meghan's tear-streaked exit, paired with Kelly's pointed questions, created a firestorm. Some saw courage in Kelly's willingness to confront a public figure others tiptoed around. Others saw cruelty, a woman cornered and emotionally stripped live on air. Social media exploded. Hashtags like #Kelly vs Meghan, #wellness or warfare, and #Meghan deserved better trended globally. TikTok was flooded with side-by-side reaction videos, while media pundits from CNN to YouTube's commentary corners weighed in on the interview heard round the world. Meanwhile, backstage at the studio, chaos simmered behind closed doors. Meghan sat curled up on a velvet sofa in her dressing room, shoulders tight, silently sipping water as her team scrambled. Her publicist paced, phone to ear, voice clipped. We were told Evermind would be the focus. This crossed a line. We're pulling the second interview. Cancel The View and GMA. We're not walking into another ambush. Another assistant stood near the door, fuming. She didn't even let Meghan finish her answers. It wasn't a conversation, it was an interrogation. But Meghan remained quiet, red-eyed, emotionally drained. She wasn't just angry, she was hurt. She didn't want to tear me down, Meghan finally whispered. She wanted to expose me. Meanwhile, Kelly Clarkson was in the green room with her executive producer, rewatching the segment with tight lips and folded arms. She came here to pitch a product, Kelly said flatly. But people don't get to pitch healing without facing some accountability. That's not mean, that's honest. Her producer shifted uncomfortably. The audience loved it. Ratings are going to skyrocket. I didn't do it for that, Kelly replied. I asked what millions of people want to know. If she wants to lead a movement, she has to answer to the world watching it. By the time the next morning rolled around, every major network had picked up the story. TMZ, the Daily Mail, the New York Times, all dissected the moment Meghan's composure cracked. Some hailed Kelly for doing what Oprah wouldn't. Others called it bullying with a studio audience. That afternoon, Meghan's team released an official statement. The public divided instantly. In Montecito, Meghan took refuge. She reportedly turned down multiple interview offers that came in afterward, from CBS This Morning, 60 Minutes, even The Ellen Show. She's not hiding, a close friend told People magazine. She's regrouping. Then, a week later, Meghan quietly reappeared, this time on her own terms. She uploaded a 6-minute video on Evermind's official channel. No makeup, natural light, she sat cross-legged on a patio, looking composed but deeply human. I've been silent the past few days, she began. Not because I was defeated, but because I needed to pause. I needed to remind myself why I do this in the first place. Her voice didn't tremble. She addressed the interview, indirectly but unmistakably. Sometimes, people don't want to see you heal. They want to see you perform pain. When you choose peace over performance, it upsets the script. And that's okay. The video was seen as a subtle clapback, and it worked. Thousands flooded the comments with support. Celebrities reposted it, even some of her critics softened. Kelly, for her part, didn't respond directly. But sources said she stood by the interview. Ratings had soared. The show was more talked about than ever. And somewhere in that chaotic media storm, both women walked away changed. Kelly became the host who dared ask the question. Meghan became the woman who cried, and came back stronger. But the divide remained. In a world obsessed with image and control, this clash reminded everyone of one thing.